And now I know this mystery, that sinners will alter and pervert the words of righteousness in many ways, and will speak wicked words and lie, and practice great deceits, and write books concerning their words. But when they write down truthfully all my words in their languages, and do not change or diminish aught from my words, but write them down truthfully, all that I first testified concerning them, then I know another mystery, that books will be given to the righteous and the wise to become a cause of joy and uprightness and much wisdom. And to them shall the books be given, and they shall believe in them and rejoice over them. And then shall all the righteous who have learnt that, and then shall all the righteous who have learnt therefrom all the paths of righteousness be recompensed. That's chapter 104 in the book of Enoch. We're gonna go to chapter 1 really quick. We're gonna read some of the book of Enoch today, a good amount of it, or not a good amount of it. Like, I want to read many chapters at the beginning, but there's a few that I want to go over at the end first. Let me see here. Let's just look at. I just wanted to point something out. That's pretty interesting to me how it says. Well, I'll go look at it so I don't misquote it. How it says, and to them shall the books be given, and they shall believe in them and rejoice over them. For me, that speaks so strongly. And we're looking at one of these books right now, the book of Enoch. It says down here, it says, I know another mystery, that books will be given to the righteous and the wise to become a cause of joy and uprightness and much wisdom. That's what I feel like these apocryphal books are. I do believe there's much wisdom, and they do bring joy, and I think they bring uprightness. In a time when I think we were all mistaken, when the whole world was mistaken about many of these things. Like it says, where is that? At the beginning, the sinners will alter and pervert the words of righteousness in many ways, and will speak wicked words and lie, and practice great deceits, and write books concerning their words. I think that all of that has happened. So chapter 1, it mentions a lot. It really specifically points to the end times, these books being given to that last generation for knowledge and an understanding, and to be like a gift for them. Let's just start reading here a little bit in chapter 1 of the book of Enoch. The words of the blessing of Enoch, wherewith he blessed the righteous and elect, who will be living in the day of tribulation. So I'm going to read that again, because this is the context of this book. The words of the blessing of Enoch, wherewith he blessed the elect and righteous, who will be living in the day of tribulation. That's very specific. It's for the elect and righteous who will be living in the day of tribulation. When all the wicked and godless are to be removed. And he took up his parable and said, Enoch, a righteous man, whose eyes were opened by God, saw the vision of the holy ones, or the Holy One in the heavens, which the angels showed me. And from them I heard everything, and from them I understood as I saw, but not for this generation, but for a remote one, which is for to come. Concerning the elect I said, and I took up my parable concerning them. The Holy Great One will come forth from his dwelling, and the eternal God will tread upon the earth, even on Mount Sinai, and appear from his camp, and appear in the strength of his might from the heaven of heavens. And all shall be smitten with fear, and the watchers shall quake, and great fear and trembling shall seize them unto the ends of the earth. And high mountains shall be shaken, and the high hills shall be made low, and shall melt like wax before the flame. and the earth shall be wholly rent in sunder, and all that is upon the earth shall perish, and there shall be a judgment upon all men. But with the righteous he will make peace, and will protect the elect, and mercy shall be upon them. And they shall belong to God, and they shall be prospered, and they shall all be blessed. And he will help them all, and light shall appear unto them, and he will make peace with them. And behold, he cometh with 10,000s of his holy ones, to execute judgment upon all, and to destroy all the ungodly, and to convict all flesh of all the works of their ungodliness which they have ungodly committed, and all of the hard things which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. And we're going to read like 2 more chapters quick here. Observe ye everything that takes place in the heaven, how they do not change their orbits, and the luminaries which are in the heaven, how they all rise and set in order each in its season, and transgress not against their appointed order. So we're going to have to remember this, that what we just read there, what takes place in the heaven, because we're going to look at something at the end of the book of Enoch. It's actually a fragment of the book of Noah, and there's something very interesting, and I can't say I understand exactly what it means, but it seems to talk about this, how they all rise and set in order, each in its season, and transgress not against their appointed order. Behold ye the earth, and give heed to the things which take place upon it, from first to last, how steadfast they are, how none of the things upon earth change, but all the works of God appear to you. Behold the summer and the winter, how the whole earth is filled with water, and clouds and dew and rain lie upon it. Chapter 3. Observe and see how in the winter all the trees seem as though they had withered and shed all their leaves, except 14 trees, which do not lose their foliage, but retain the old foliage from 2 to 3 years till the new comes. And again, observe ye the days of summer, how the sun is above the earth over against it, and you seek shade and shelter by reason of the heat of the sun, and the earth also burns with growing heat, and so you cannot tread on the earth or on a rock by reason of its heat. I think that's all we're going to go for a second here. We'll continue on in chapter 5 in a moment. Okay, back up to chapter 104. Yes, I think we're going to read to the very end of the book right here. I think it's like 107 maybe. I'm not sure. In those days the Lord bade them to summon and testify to the children of earth concerning their wisdom. Show it unto them, for ye are their guides, and a recompense over the whole earth. For I and my son will be united with them forever in the paths of righteousness in their lives, and ye shall have peace. Rejoice, ye children of uprightness. Amen. Okay, let's see. We're going to skip this chapter, I guess. Okay, let's read this. This is chapter 107. And I saw written on them, he's talking about these tablets that he saw in heaven. And I saw written on them that generation upon generation shall transgress, till a generation of righteousness arises, and transgression is destroyed, and sin passes away from the earth, and all manner of good comes upon it. And now, my son, go and make known to thy son Lamech that his son, which has been born, is in truth his son, and that this is no lie. And when Methuselah had heard the words of his father Enoch, for he had shown to him everything in secret, he returned and showed them to him, and called the name of that son Noah, for he will comfort the earth after all the destruction. So let me just explain a little bit. I didn't want to read the whole last chapter, but Lamech had when Noah was born, it says Noah shone like the sun, and was really bright, and Lamech considered that it may not be his son and that he was maybe born of an angel because of how his countenance was. And so he went to Enoch and asked for wisdom about it, or asked him to explain it to him, and so that's what we just read there. Okay, let's see. We're gonna start here. Let's see, I gotta find out where. Probably verse 10, I think, is where we're gonna start. Yeah, I think that'll work. Okay, and all the blessings destined for them I have recounted in the books, and he hath assigned them their recompense, because they have been, sorry, I'm having a hard time, they have been found to be such as loved heaven more than their life in the world. And though they were trodden underfoot of wicked men, and experienced abuse and reviling from them, and were put to shame, yet they blessed me. And now I will summon the spirits of the good who belong to the generation of light, and I will transform those who were born in darkness, who in the flesh were not recompensed with such honor as their faithfulness deserved. And I will bring forth in shining light those who have loved my holy name, and I will seat each on the throne of his honor, and they shall be resplendent for times without number. I gotta look this word up again. I already looked it up once, but I want to just double look again, because I didn't really... Attractive and impressive through being richly colorful or sumptuous. So some of the similar words are splendid, magnificent, brilliant, dazzling, glittering, glowing, radiant. And they shall be resplendent for times without number, for righteousness is the judgment of God. For to the faithful he will give faithfulness in the habitation of upright paths. And they shall see those who were born in darkness led into darkness, while the righteous shall be resplendent. And the sinners, listen to this, this is interesting, I don't know what it means, but this last verse. And the sinners shall cry aloud and see them resplendent, and they indeed will go where days and seasons are prescribed for them. Now, I don't really know. I'll just, say what I'm thinking here. I don't know if that's talking about the righteous or the sinners that will have days and seasons prescribed for them. And let me just look at Daniel 12 quick. But actually, let me go back to the Enoch that we were just looking at. Okay. Days and seasons are prescribed for them. That's a very interesting phrase to me, because there's a few reasons why. So we've got that. There's one other thing I wanted to look up. It was just Genesis 1, because the stars are let's see, I think it's verse 14 probably. Whoops. Okay. 1 verse 14, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven, to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and seasons, and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth. And it was so. So what I'm thinking here, I'm again, I don't know what this means, but and the sinners shall cry aloud and see them resplendent, and they indeed will go where days and seasons are prescribed for them. Well, listen to what it says in Daniel 12. Whoops, I thought I had the KJV there. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble. Remember in wherever we were, that would have been, let's just go back, I think, to chapter 104, 105. 104, I think. Okay. I just want you guys to understand the way I'm thinking about it, you know. Let's see. Okay, now I already lost my thought process there. Okay. Oh, the time of trouble. That was actually in the book of Enoch, chapter 1, that it was talking about that, I think. Okay. Yeah, in the second verse. The words of the blessing of Enoch, verse 1, the words of the blessing of Enoch wherewith he blessed the elect and righteous who will be living in the day of tribulation. So that's why I went there. So that's what it says here. There shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. Do you guys get what I'm seeing there? Sorry, I should have just opened another page, but and the sinners shall cry aloud and see them resplendent, and they indeed will go where days and seasons are prescribed for them. That just makes me think a lot about the time that we're in. So before we were in what did we make it to, chapter 4 or 5? Oops. Okay, we just made it to chapter 4. So we'll start in 5, but I wanted to also read because I think right now, you know how it mentioned that books would be given to them and they would believe those books. I better just go back and find that. Sorry. I'm going to just open a duplicate here and chapter 1, I think it was, right? Oh, maybe I'm thinking totally in the wrong spot. Let's see. Oh, I like this verse right here. And he will help them all, and light shall appear unto them, and he will make peace with them. I feel like that's happening. But that's not the verse or chapter I was looking for. Maybe it was at the end. I think it was where it said, I know a mystery. I know another mystery. Which, I don't remember which chapter that was. Was it right here? Sorry, guys. I'm just learning and sharing my learning. Here it was. And I know this mystery, verse 10, and I know this mystery, that sinners will alter and pervert the words of righteousness in many ways, and will speak wicked words, and lie, and practice great deceits, and write books concerning their words. But when they write down truthfully all my words in their languages, and do not change or diminish aught from my words, but write them down truthfully, all that I first testified concerning them, then I know another mystery, that books will be given to the righteous and wise to become a cause of joy and uprightness and much wisdom. And to them, this is awesome, and to them shall the books be given, and they shall believe in them and rejoice over them. That's awesome. So on that topic, these books, how can we rejoice over a book? How can we believe in what a book says? It has to be more than a book. And that's what I think that these are. And in my mind, my mind goes to the place where in Luke 24 that we're going to read here. This is exactly where my mind goes. I'm just going to start reading in verse 14. And they talked together of all these things which had happened. And it came to pass that while they communed together and reasoned, Jesus himself drew near and went with them. But their eyes were holden that they should not know him. And he said unto them, What manner of communications are these that ye have one to another as ye walk and are sad? And the one of them, whose name was Cleopas, answering, said unto him, Art thou only a stranger in Jerusalem, and hast not known the things which are come to pass there in these days? And he said unto them, What things? And they said unto him, Concerning Jesus of Nazareth, which was a prophet, mighty in deed and word before God and all the people, and how the chief priests and our rulers delivered him to be condemned to death, and have crucified him. But we trusted that it had been he which should have redeemed Israel. And beside all this, today is the third day since these things were done. Yea, and certain women also of our company made us astonished, which were early at the sepulchre. And when they found not his body, they came saying that they had also seen a vision of angels, which said that he was alive. And certain of them which were with us went to the sepulchre, and found it even so as the women had said, but him they saw not. Then he said unto them, O fools, and slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Ought not Christ to have suffered these things, and enter into his glory? And beginning at Moses and all the prophets, he expounded, this is awesome, I just love this part, he expounded unto them in all the scriptures the things concerning himself. I just have to give my testimony that I believe he's doing that to many people today. He's expounding unto them in the scriptures the things concerning himself. And this is awesome. I'm going to keep reading. And they drew nigh unto the village whither they went, and he made as though he would have gone further, but they constrained him, saying, Abide with us, for it is toward evening, and the day is far spent. And he went in to tarry with them. And it came to pass, as he sat at meat with them, he took bread and blessed it, and brake, and gave to them. And their eyes were opened, and they knew him, and he vanished out of their sight. And they said one to another, Did not our heart burn within us while he talked with us by the way, and while he opened to us the scriptures? That's how we understand the scriptures. Not by being smart or being, what the world calls smart, I guess. That's not how. It's when Jesus comes and opens the scriptures. And I think that we live in a time right now. I'm just giving my testimony. I experienced this. I have experienced this and am continually experiencing this in a way that I never thought would be a possibility. I didn't think that words in a book could have such strong meaning. I mean, especially for me, since I hated reading books when I was a younger. I never picked up books. I couldn't stand sitting reading a book. And all of a sudden, I find myself now just consumed by these books. There's so much information that I'm going to go back to that last chapter we were looking at here. It says, Then I know another mystery down here, that books will be given to the righteous and wise to become a cause of joy and uprightness and much wisdom. Well, yes, it comes in the form of books, but the joy and the uprightness and much wisdom is not from a book. That's from Jesus opening the scriptures for our comprehension or our understanding, so that we can understand them. And then, so this is one of my favorite, Luke 24. This is one of my favorite passages in the Bible. Because it's like personal, the way that when I read it, I understand how they felt when they said, Did not our heart burn within us while he talked with us by the way? And while he opened to us the scriptures? That's just awesome. Awesome. And then that's another thing too, the ascension. Jesus ascended into the clouds, which I've never seen anybody do that, unless they were like on a rocket or a jet or whatever. What I'm saying is, the Son of God doesn't need a rocket. He's the King of Kings. Okay, so then Luke 21. Oh, and this I put in the description. Let me see where. Okay, we're going to start in verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out. And let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. That just reminded me of one other thing I want to look at. Oh, not wrong one. I don't know if it's Ezekiel 9. I think it's Ezekiel 9. Whoops. Let me see if this is the one. It might be 10. Yeah. I think Ezekiel 10. I think Ezekiel saw and described, I guess, what it would look like from heaven, the days that we're living in. That's what I think. And people being sealed in their foreheads with the seal of the living God. And I guess Ezekiel saw it from the point of New Jerusalem. He saw it from there, which to me, I don't understand all the Ezekiel's wheels and the cherubims, but I do understand this one that was clothed in linen. Let's see here. Okay, verse 7. And one cherub stretched forth his hand from between the cherubims unto the fire that was between the cherubims, and took thereof, and put it into the hands of him that was clothed with linen, who took it and went out, and there appeared in the cherubims the form of a man's hand under the wings. Okay, I think that wasn't the right part. I'm just trying to... Okay, that's not the right part. Maybe it was the last chapter. I don't know. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, I should have looked at this closer. The one that has the writer's inkhorn by his side, I think it was given to him. I think he's I kind of think it's Jesus, but I don't know. I don't know that. Let's see. I'll just start out in verse 1. He cried also in mine ears with a loud voice, saying, Cause them that have charge over the city to draw near, even every man with his destroying weapon in his hand. And behold, 6 men came from the way of the higher gate, which lieth toward the north, and every man a slaughter weapon in his hand. And one man among them was clothed with linen, with a writer's inkhorn by his side. And they went in, and stood beside the brazen altar. And the glory of the God of Israel was gone up from the cherub, whereupon he was, to the threshold of the house. And he called to the man clothed with linen, which had the writer's inkhorn by his side. And the Lord said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. To me, that's saying in the midst of Jerusalem. There's abominations being done in Jerusalem. And personally, I believe that this is New Jerusalem. And the abominations are things like satellites and space stations and things that alter the times and laws. Because remember, we were looking at, look at it, Daniel here, and they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever. So I don't understand what the nature of that. I don't understand what it means to be like a star. But I know that Enoch chapter 15, which we'll read today. I just wanted to go over some verses before we're just going to start reading the book of Enoch at wherever we left off at the beginning there. We're just going to read a bunch of it because I just think it's awesome. But I just wanted to go over Mark 10 and Luke 21. And of course, I end up opening a bunch of new tabs with verses because I stopped. Let's see. Depart out. Let me just make sure. Okay, so in the midst of Jerusalem there be abominations being done. Back to Ezekiel 9. Sorry, I'm jumping all over. And to the others he said in mine hearing, Go ye after him through the city, and smite. Let not your eye spare, neither have ye pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women. But come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Well, that's in heaven, guys. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house, and he said unto them, Defile the house, and fill the courts with the slain. Go ye forth. And they went forth and slew the city. Let's see here. Okay, this is important. Verse 9. Then he said unto me, The iniquity of the house of Israel and Judah is exceeding great, and the land is full of blood, and the city full of perverseness. For they say, The Lord hath forsaken the earth, and the Lord seeth not. Please, guys, don't think this way. I don't care who you are. Do not think this way. Try to take a moment and look around and understand all the wonders that have been created that don't happen on their own. Matter isn't created on its own. There's a creator of all things. And he has not left his throne. He's always there. And we've been given a life in a time when the world thinks he's not there, which is one of the reasons why we have these books, that we can take joy in them and that we can gain wisdom from them. And we can believe these books. Okay. Let's see. And look at, and as for me also, mine eye shall not spare, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense their way upon their head. If something fell from the sky that was something wicked that we put in the sky, then it's going to be recompensed on our head. This is I don't know how many times. Let's do a fun little Bible Gateway search, because I've never done this, but this could be interesting. Let's look in Ezekiel how many times it says recompense. And then we're going to look up another word. Okay, in Ezekiel, I suppose I could just click on this. 10 times in Ezekiel. I'm just going to briefly kind of skim through them here. And will recompense upon thee all thine abominations. But I will recompense thy ways upon thee. I will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense thee for all thine abominations. I will recompense thee according to thy ways, and thine abominations that are in the midst of thee. But I will recompense their way upon their head. I will recompense their way upon their own heads. Therefore I also will recompense thy way upon thine head. Even it will I recompense upon his own head. Their own way have I recompensed upon their heads. And they shall recompense your lewdness upon you, and ye shall bear the sins of your idols, and ye shall know that I am the Lord God. Okay, I didn't think I was going to get into this, but I am right now. In the book of Jasher, chapter 9, I'm not going to get it out, but when they were building the Tower of Babel, the King Nimrod and all those that were doing that, they divided themselves into three different groups, kind of. And the first group wanted to ascend into heaven. All three groups wanted to ascend into heaven, but they wanted to do different things in heaven. The first group wanted to war against God. Guess what the second group wanted to do? They wanted to ascend into heaven and place their own gods there and serve them instead of the Most High God. Satellites, guys. GPS, satellite TV, weather, everything that we put up into that sky. I know it might not sound realistic, but I know that all of that is going to be recompensed on our heads. And I think there's only one way to escape that, and it is to turn away from it. Just like Sodom and Gomorrah, Lot's wife turned away. They were leaving, and whatever she had in her heart desired something in that place or whatever. She turned back. She looked back. So she should have repented. She should have turned from it and not looked back. Once you realize that something's wrong, and it, especially in this case, we're putting idols in the temple of God, and New Jerusalem is compassed with armies, and it's just a conflict. And so then I want to look up one other word, pity, in the book of Ezekiel, because he makes it very clear here in this book. To me, anyway, he makes it very clear. There's 7 times it says in the book of Ezekiel that when he does this recompensing, or whatever you call it, he's not going to hear them cry. He's not going to, they're going to cry in his ear, but he's not going to hear them, because he's given us warning. He's been long-suffering all throughout time, and men continue to do these things, and it's escalated to where it's going to actually destroy the earth now. And so all the things that are up in the sky, they're all going to be thrown down onto the ground. And I think the only people that are going to escape this plague of great hail is going to be the people who turn from it. So I'll just read some of these. He says, therefore will I also diminish thee, neither shall mine eye spare, neither will I have any pity. And my eye shall not spare thee, neither will I have any pity, but I will recompense thy ways upon thee, and thine abominations shall be in the midst of thee. He's going to give him right back. And I know this is talking about satellites. And if you think satellites are satelloons, that's fine. They'll come down too. Whatever we put up there, however you want to look at it. Heavy things in the sky coming down and without any pity, and people that cry about it and think it's a horrible plague, they could repent any moment and turn from it. I'll just read some more here. My eye shall not spare, neither will I have any pity. Mine eye shall not spare, neither will I have any pity. Therefore I will also deal in fury. Mine eye shall not spare, neither will I have any pity. Go ye after him through the city, and smite. Let not your eye spare, neither have any pity, or have ye pity. And as for me also, mine eye shall not spare, neither will I have any pity, but I will recompense their way upon their head. There was one where it said, although they cry in my ear. I can't remember where that one is. Maybe, let me just open this really quick. Look at this. This is Ezekiel 7. Now is the end come upon thee. I will send mine anger upon thee, and will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense upon thee all thine abominations. And mine eye shall not spare, neither will I have any pity, but I will recompense thy ways upon thee, and thine abominations shall be in the midst of thee. There was just, I don't remember where it is. There was one place where it says, that although they cry in my ear, I will not hear them, and I won't have any pity. So what I'm saying is, God's a loving God, but I think there's a line. Well, I know there's a line that he draws, and this is a something that I think let's see here. Let me go back to look at what it. This is it. Which one is this? Chapter 1 in Enoch. And he will help them all, and light shall appear unto them, and he will make peace with them. What I'm saying is, he wants to make peace. He wants to protect us, and mercy shall be upon them. They shall be prospered. They shall be blessed. Look at verse 7. And the earth shall be wholly rent in sunder, and all that is upon earth shall perish, and there shall be a judgment upon all men. But with the righteous he will make peace. Here's where my mind goes there. Flee Sodom and Gomorrah. Just flee. Don't look back. It's not worth looking back. It's not. And what I'm talking about is this particular thing is abominations that we are putting into the temple of God today. In fact, if you go to my channel, you'll see a lot of my live videos are Starlink launches. There's a reason why I cover those as often as I can. There's a reason why I talk about those. Because I can clearly see all those things that we've put up there, the Hubble telescope, whatever, all the things that we've put up there. I think in a moment's time, I don't know when, but I'm saying in a moment's time, all of it falls down. All of it comes down. And with that comes spirits that I don't even want to think about. I've heard them described by too many prophets to want to even really think about it. Sparks and flames coming out of their mouths, and they will come in torment. This is good. This is a real thing, and I know it doesn't sound realistic, but so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna read chapter 5 of the book of Enoch, and we'll just read for a while. For some reason, I don't have any chat. My chat box thing isn't working, but I can see there's people here, so thank you for all showing up, and hello to every one of you. All right, Enoch, the book of Enoch, chapter 5. Observe ye how the trees cover themselves with green leaves and bear fruit. Wherefore, give ye heed and know with regard to all his works, and recognize how he that liveth forever hath made them so. Let's all do that. Let's recognize how he that liveth forever hath made them so. Everything. He made everything. And all his works go on, thus from year to year forever. And all the tasks which they accomplish for him, and their tasks change not, but according as God hath ordained, so is it done. And behold how the sea and the rivers in like manner accomplish the change, and change not their tasks from his commandments. Excuse me. But ye have not been steadfast, nor done the commandments of the Lord. But ye have turned away and spoken proud and hard words with your impure mouths against his greatness. O ye hard-hearted, ye shall find no peace. Therefore shall ye execrate your days, and the years of your life shall perish, and the years of your destruction shall be multiplied in eternal execration. And ye shall find no mercy. Kind of sounds like Ezekiel, huh? And ye shall find no mercy. In those days ye shall make your names an eternal execration unto all the righteous, and by you shall all who curse, and all the sinners and godless shall imprecate by you, and for you the godless there shall be a curse. A curse. This is why I have Zechariah 5 open. Let's read about the curse. The flying scroll. And yes, guys, this is an obvious thing that Zechariah sees in this vision. It's very obvious what he is seeing. And I'll tell you what he's seeing is going to be the very thing that is lifting all these abominations up into New Jerusalem, into the temple of God, into his sanctuary. I won't even say the word, but you just have to listen to what Zechariah describes here. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. There's his testimony right there. I see a flying roll. And the length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. Like, this is scary, to be honest. No one was ready for this, you guys. No one was prepared no one was prepared for this. We just think we're advancing technology and we're doing it for humanity and all these things, like NASA says they're doing all these things to better humanity. Well, they're also lifting a shout against the one that made us, and he's not going to have any pity. He's going to cast everything down on our heads. That's like, when I say our heads, I hope to escape these things. But what I'm saying is turn from them. Turn away from these things. Okay, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. So it's a flying roll that goes over the face of the whole earth. For every one that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it. And every one that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. It makes me think of a sword. If you have something and you cut it with a sword in half, I guess. Now you have two things. You have this way or that way. And when John saw him coming on the clouds, he had a sword in his mouth, a two-edged sword in his mouth. Or coming out of his mouth. And the word of God is this sword of the Spirit, I think. It's a sword. The word is a sword, and it cuts. What did he say in Matthew 10? He said, "Think not," about he didn't come to bring peace, but a sword. Maybe we'll look at that later. But back to the book of Enoch. Okay. And for you the godless there shall be a curse. And all this must be a missing word or something, shall rejoice, and there shall be forgiveness of sins. Oh, that just reminds me of a channel. And again, I can't see the chat. There's no live chat here, so I don't know. I don't want to mess with my computer. Everything seems to be working. But if you guys are in the chat and you know a channel called West Texas, maybe somebody can go there and drop a link into the chat, because there's a brother doing simple reading and study, I guess. I don't know what you'd call it, but he's I think he was in Luke chapter 7 today, and the subject of forgiveness was brought up, and I just suggest that everyone go subscribe to West Texas and check out his, I guess you'd call it Bible studies, or whatever the right word would be to describe what he's doing. I appreciate when people are reading these words. We all need to hear these words. They're the most important words that can be heard or even uttered in these days, is the words of Jesus. That's what I think. So that's forgiveness of sins. Jesus forgives us of sins. Okay. And every mercy and peace and forbearance, there shall be salvation unto them, a goodly light. And for all of you sinners there shall be no salvation, but on you all shall abide a curse. It just makes me think of Sodom and Gomorrah. Guys, we know what the curse is. We're living in the time when it's happening. So I guess I can only speak from my own perspective, but if I was a person that was hearing this for the first time, if I went onto YouTube and I heard someone saying that there is a curse that goes forth over the face of the whole earth, and it's Zechariah said it looked like a flying roll, and he even gave a size for it. And then, I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is that if I heard somebody say that, I think I would be concerned. Especially all those things I was reading in Ezekiel 7 or about recompensing our ways upon our heads. And our abominations that we put in Jerusalem he would recompense them and put them in our midst. That would concern me because of all these Starlink. They've launched since May of 2019. They've launched like 1,100 satellites into low Earth orbit. 1,100. You can go out any night and look up at the sky, let your eyes adjust, and you'll see them. You'll see them all over the place. They cover the face of the earth. And this is, according to their plans, this is the beginning of what they're doing. This is like a small portion of what they plan on doing. Elon Musk and SpaceX. So what I'm saying is, I could write a letter to Elon and say, hey, I suggest you stop doing that, but I just don't think he'll get the letter. I don't think he'll get the point. I just think that it's already been declared, it's already been written, and we happen to be in the time when, like we were looking at here, Jesus opens the meaning of the scriptures. That's what's happening. And I didn't even read that part. I kind of stopped. Let's read that right now. Luke 24, starting in verse 44. And he said unto them, these are the words which I spake unto you while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled, which were written in the law of Moses and in the prophets and in the Psalms concerning me. Then opened he their understanding, that they might understand the scriptures. That's today, you guys. And said unto them, thus it is written, and thus it behooved Christ to suffer and to rise from the dead on the third day, and that repentance and remission of sins should be preached in his name among all nations, beginning at Jerusalem. And ye are witnesses of these things. And behold, I send the promise of my Father upon you, but tarry ye in the city of Jerusalem until ye be endued by the power from on high, or with power from on high. Opening the scriptures. I couldn't ever think of a time in my whole life when the scriptures had more information than they do now. Do you know what I'm saying? I didn't study them like I do now, but I think that he is making these scriptures have meaning. It's not my understanding. It's him that gives us, that opens these things up so that we can understand them. Okay, back to the book of Enoch, chapter... Whoops, wrong one. Chapter 5, right? Chapter 5. How far did we get? Let's see. Okay, I'll just start whatever this is, I. And for all you sinners there shall be no salvation, but on you shall abide a curse. But for the elect there shall be light and joy and peace, and they shall inherit the earth. And then there shall be bestowed upon the elect wisdom. Oh, I got to open another chapter. That just reminded me of chapter 93. I think. Yeah, it's 93. It says in verse 10, and at its close, I'll read 9 too. And after that, in the 7th week, shall an apostate generation arise, and many shall be its deeds, and all its deeds shall be apostate. And at its close shall be elected the elect righteous of the eternal plant of righteousness, to receive sevenfold instruction concerning all his creation. Flat earth. To receive sevenfold instruction. That's a prophecy that's being fulfilled today. Okay. Back to, where was it? This one? Okay. Sorry. Jumping around too much. I wish I could see the chat. I'm going to try something. I'm going to try pop out chat and see if that works. Because I just want to say hi to you guys before I keep reading. Yeah, it works. Okay. West Texas is here. Awesome. Or can you put your link? You did? Okay, good, good. You guys subscribe to that channel. Some of the most simple words are the most useful maybe in this time. I like what West Texas this morning. Go watch the video that he made this morning. I think it was Luke 7. Yes, sevenfold instruction. Isn't that just awesome? Good to see all you guys. I'm gonna go up to the top and Marlo 15959. Hello, Davey 313. Cindy Lou Heeman. I like that. Person without a mask. That's a good one. Ketligo Matamala, if that's right. I think I said that right, hopefully. GR Cleaves in here. Ben Bustler. Yeah, Project Mars. What a weird book, huh? What a weird situation. That's got to be like fallen angel stuff going on with the book with Elon in it. And actually, there's a sister that comes here named Shalom Girl, and she was actually a nanny for Elon Musk many years ago. And she said his name at that time was Elyon, I think. Elyon. Interesting stuff. Well, good to see you. 369 Unslaved. Michael Kahn, what's up, brother? Parkway. Roderick. Deb Woods. I hope I'm not skipping anybody. Good to see you guys. In West Texas. And Rise Up 48209. Did I get everyone yet? I think I did, but you never know. Gen X Coffee House is in the house. What's up, Anthony? How you doing? Kelly Chambers. Good to see you. Oops, my chat just... Hey, Red Pill Paul, what's up? Karen Ann Preston, how you doing? Awesome. Made it to the bottom. Deb Woods is scrubbing with gloves on. Oh, okay, sorry, West Texas. I had the wrong chapter, I think. Luke 7 was a couple of days ago, I think, Monday. I think maybe I was watching a video from a couple of days ago. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But yeah, thank you, West Texas, for doing that. I think that those are some of the most important videos that are on YouTube right now, are the ones that have the red letters in them. Like the words of Jesus aren't 2,000-year-old words. They're alive today with more meaning than they've ever had, I think. That's my opinion. But so I love seeing just people reading these scriptures. Just because I know that people click on the video that need to hear it or need to be reminded of it or need to... some people haven't even heard them. So, like, they have to hear them. Like, I don't know why today I keep thinking about Sodom and Gomorrah and Lot and his wife. And there was obviously something that she had in her heart for that place or for what was being done there or whatever. And if there is any kind of warning for people today, look at Lot's wife, or look at the people that were banging on the door of Noah's Ark. Nobody wants to be, nobody wants to have things recompensed on their heads that they've put up in God's tabernacle. I guarantee you that. It does mention in Revelation a plague of great hail. I still don't think that they'll repent. Like they won't repent because I don't think they can even connect it, because they think that God has left his abode, and he hasn't. He's just been long-suffering and shown us mercy for however many thousands of years that we've been evil on the earth. Anyway, I'm going to keep reading. Sorry, I keep yapping, but okay. We'll just start in verse 8. And then there shall be bestowed upon the elect wisdom, and they shall all live and never sin again, or never again sin, either through ungodliness or through pride. But they who are wise shall be humble, and they shall not again transgress, nor shall they sin in all the days of their life, nor shall they die of the divine anger or wrath, but they shall complete the number of days of the days of their life, and their lives shall be increased in peace, and the years of their joy shall be multiplied in eternal gladness and peace all the days of their life. Well, that sounds good. I'll take it. That's what I want. Okay, now here we get into why some of this evil has come upon the world, or will come upon the world, and this is kind of the start of some of that. Not all of it. Is the garden was, I suppose, the Garden of Eden was the start of it. But so we're in chapter 6 of the book of Enoch. And it came to pass, when the children of men had multiplied, that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters. And the angels, the children of heaven, saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, Come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men, and beget us children. And Semyaza, who was their leader, said unto them, I fear ye will not indeed agree to this deed, and I alone shall have to pay the penalty of a great sin. And they all answered him and said, Let us all swear an oath, and bind ourselves by mutual imprecations, not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing. Then swear they all together, and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. And they were in all 200 who descended in the days of Jared on the summit of Mount Hermon. So these angels descended. And they called it Mount Hermon, because they had sworn and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. And these are the names of their leaders: Semyazaz, their leader, Arakiba, Ramiel, Kokebiel, Tamiel, Ramiel, Danel, Ezekiel, Barakagel, Esiel, Armoros, Batarel, Ananel, Zachiel, Samsapiel, Satarel, Terrell, Jomgel, Seriel. Sorry about that, guys. I butchered all them, I'm sure. These are their chiefs of tens. And all the others together with them took unto themselves wives, and each chose for himself one, and they began to go into them and to defile themselves with them, and they taught them charms and enchantments and the cutting of roots, and made them acquainted with plants. And they became pregnant, and they bare great giants, whose height was 3,000 ells, who consumed all the acquisitions of men. And when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind. And they began to sin against birds and beasts and reptiles and fish, and to devour one another's flesh and drink the blood. Then the earth laid accusation against the lawless ones. And Azazel taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth. That's happening today, guys, with SpaceX is coming up with new kinds of alloy metals and things that They're using lightweight things to get out of this earth, to climb up to heaven, because it's hard to do. God set it far from them so that they would have to work their evil, I guess. I don't know. Okay, and the art of working them, the metals, and bracelets and ornaments, and the use of antimony, and the beautifying of the eyelids, and all kinds of costly stones, and all coloring tinctures. And there arose much godlessness, and they committed fornication, and they were led astray, and became corrupt in all their ways. Semyaza taught enchantments and root cuttings. Armoros, the resolving of enchantments. Barakajel taught astrology. Kokabel, the constellations. Ezekiel, the knowledge of the clouds. Arakiel, the signs of the earth. Shamsiel, the signs of the sun. And Sariel, the course of the moon. And as men perished, they cried, and their cry went up to heaven. So they were really, their offspring, the giants, were really destroying men. And I think it's like probably the worst we could think of, like eating them and things like that. Probably worse than that, it was wickedness. Chapter 9. And then Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel looked down from heaven and saw much blood being shed upon the earth, and all the lawlessness being wrought upon the earth. And they said one to another, the earth made without inhabitants cries the voice of their crying up to the gates of heaven. Did I read that right? I'm going to try that again. The earth made without inhabitants cries the voice of their crying up to the gates of heaven. And now to you, the holy ones of heaven, the souls of men make their suit, saying, bring our cause before the Most High. And they said to the Lord of the ages, Lord of lords, God of gods, King of kings, and God of the ages, the throne of thy glory standeth unto all generations of the ages, and thy name holy and glorious and blessed unto all the ages. Thou hast made all things, and power over all things hast thou. And all things are naked and open in thy sight. And thou seest all things, and nothing can hide itself from thee. Thou seest what Azazel hath done, who hath taught all unrighteousness on earth, and revealed the eternal secrets which were preserved in heaven, which men were striving to learn. And Semyaza, to whom thou hast given authority to bear rule over his associates. And they have gone to the daughters of men upon the earth, and have slept with the women, and have defiled themselves, and revealed to them all kinds of sins. And the women have borne giants, and the whole earth has thereby been filled with blood and unrighteousness. And now behold, the souls of those who have died are crying, and make their suit to the gates of heaven. And their lamentations have ascended, and cannot cease because of the lawless deeds which are wrought on the earth. And thou knowest all things before they come to pass, and thou seest these things, and thou dost suffer them, and thou dost not say to us what we are to do to them in regard to these. So I believe that was the holy angels petitioning God, I think. Okay, chapter 10. Then said the Most High, the Holy and Great One spake, and sent Uriel to the son of Lamech, and said to him, go to Noah, and tell him in my name, hide thyself, and reveal to him the end that is approaching, that the whole earth will be destroyed, and a deluge is about to come upon the whole earth, and will destroy all that is on it. And now instruct him that he may escape, and his seed may be preserved for all the generations of the world. Again the Lord said to Raphael, bind Azazel hand and foot, and cast him into the darkness. Sorry, I have to emphasize that. Bind Azazel hand and foot, and cast him into the darkness, and make an opening in the desert, which is in Dudael, and cast him therein, and place upon him rough and jagged rocks, and cover him with darkness, and let him abide there forever, and cover his face that he may not see light. And on the day of the great judgment he shall be cast into the fire. And heal the earth which the angels have corrupted, and proclaim the healing of the earth, that they may heal the plague, and that all the children of men may not perish through all the secret things that the watchers have disclosed and have taught their sons. And the whole earth has been corrupted through the works that were taught by Azazel. To him ascribe all sin. And to Gabriel says the Lord, proceed against the bastards and the reprobates, and against the children of fornication, and destroy the children of fornication and the children of the watchers from amongst men, and cause them to go forth, send them one against the other, that they may destroy each other in battle. For length of days shall they not have. And no request that they, i.e. their fathers, make of thee shall be granted unto their fathers on their behalf. For they hope to live an eternal life, and that each one of them will live 500 years. And the Lord said unto Michael, go bind Simyaza and his associates, who have united themselves with women, so as to have defiled themselves with them in all their uncleanness. And when their sons have slain one another, and they have seen the destruction of their beloved ones, bind them fast for 70 generations in the valleys of the earth. Okay, I want to just, before I continue on, I'm going to read, start in verse 12 again. This is something that a lot of people, a lot of YouTube ministries and a lot of people that are very familiar with this book and other books, I don't know why they miss this. They get this wrong. I see it all over the place. I'm not ripping on them. I'm just saying pay careful attention to where these angels end up going. Because a lot of people say that they're buried in the earth. And they were buried in the earth, but they're not anymore. And they're not released. They're not freed. They are confined and imprisoned. But it's in a different place than the earth. So, starting in verse 12 again. And when their sons have slain one another, and they have seen the destruction of their beloved ones, bind them fast for 70 generations in the valleys of the earth, till the day of their judgment and of their consummation, till the judgment that is forever and ever is consummated. In those days they shall be led off to the abyss of fire, and to the torment and the prison in which they shall be confined forever. So I'll just say, Rob Skiba, Adam Fink, I've mentioned this to these guys, and I hope they've heard it, but nobody seems to understand that the fallen angels and Satan, that they are bound in the firmament. And a lot of these apocrypha books just straight out say that Sheol is it's a world in the firmament. So I know it's different than I thought. Deb, you're right on. Deb Woods says they are imprisoned in wandering stars, and we'll get to that today. We're going to read about that when we get to chapter 19. We're going to read about these same angels. I mean, these same fallen angels, the ones that came down. We're going to find out where they are at that abyss of fire that it says that they were confined in. We're going to find out that is where the planets are. So that place where the planets are that we call space is nothing but Sheol. It's Sheol. And we'll read about it before this live stream is over today. Because I just feel like reading this book. I'm not like trying to just read the book. I'm adding my comments too. So where were we here? We were in verse 13. See, it says, so after that 70 generations of being buried in the earth, after that judgment was consummated, there's a judgment that's forever. And that one is, it says right here, in those days they shall be led off to the abyss of fire, and to the torment and the prison in which they shall be confined forever. Now listen to this too. This gets into the topic of where do we go when we die, or where does a sinner go when he dies, and where does a righteous person go when they die? Well, this tells us about where the sinners go. They get to hang out with these fallen angels in that abyss. Right here it says, and whosoever shall be condemned and destroyed will from thenceforth be bound together with them to the end of all generations. Sheol is in the firmament. And, it only makes sense because in Revelation 12, there was war in heaven, and it was up in the firmament that John saw a dragon fighting against Michael, and that dragon happened to be Satan. Same with the ascension of Isaiah. As he ascended to the firmament, what did he see there? He saw the angels of Satan fighting with one another. And Samuel and his host. I don't know who that is, but he saw Satan in the firmament fighting, or Satan's angels fighting amongst themselves or whatever. And there was great fighting therein. I'm trying to just think off the top of my head other books that mention, but I can't. So we're in verse 15. And destroy all the spirits of the reprobate and the children of the watchers, because they have wronged mankind. Destroy all wrong from the face of the earth, and let every evil work come to an end, and let the plant of righteousness and truth appear. Interesting. And it shall prove a blessing. The works of righteousness and truth shall be planted in truth and joy forevermore. And then shall all the righteous escape, and shall live till they beget thousands of children. And all the days of their youth and their old age shall they complete in peace. And then shall the whole earth be tilled in righteousness, and shall be planted with trees full of blessing. And all desirable trees shall be planted on it, and they shall plant vines on it. And the vine which they plant thereon shall yield wine in abundance. And as for all the seed which is sown thereon, each measure of it shall bear 1,000, and each measure of olives shall yield 10 presses of oil. And cleanse thou the earth from all oppression, and from all unrighteousness, and from all sin, and from all godlessness, and from all the uncleanness that is wrought upon the earth. Destroy from off the earth. And all the children of men shall become righteous, and all nations shall offer adoration, and shall praise me, and all shall worship me, and the earth shall be cleansed from all defilement, and from all sin, and from all punishment, and from all torment. And I will never again send them upon it from generation to generation and forever. Well, that sounds like a good time to be alive in that time. Chapter 11. And in those days I will open the store chambers of blessing which are in the heaven, so as to send them down upon the earth over the work and the labor of the children of men. And truth and peace shall be associated together throughout all the days of the world, and throughout all generations of men. Chapter 12. Before these things Enoch was hidden, and no one of the children of men knew where he was hidden, and where he abode, and what had become of him. And his activities had to do with the watchers, and his days were with the holy ones. And I, Enoch, was blessing the Lord of majesty and the King of the ages. And lo, the watchers called me. This is where it gets interesting, guys. The watchers called me, Enoch the scribe, and said to me, Enoch, thou scribe of righteousness, go declare to the watchers of heaven who have left the high heaven and the holy eternal place, and have defiled themselves with women, and have done as the children of earth do, and have taken unto themselves wives. Ye have wrought great destruction on the earth, and ye shall have no peace nor forgiveness of sin. And inasmuch as they delight themselves in their children, the murder of their beloved ones shall they see, and over the destruction of their children shall they lament, and shall make supplication unto eternity. But mercy and peace shall ye not attain. So let me just explain what I think this is saying. The holy angels, they petitioned God because of all the crying of the souls of men that were being destroyed on the earth, because there was much blood and happening. And so God told the holy angels what would be happening from that point on, or whatever. And so the holy angels are starting to carry that out now, and they're going to use Enoch to be sort of a messenger to these fallen, bound angels. And it's pretty crazy. I'll just keep reading chapter 13. And Enoch went and went and said, Azazel, thou shalt have no peace. So Enoch's delivering the message to these evil angels now. Thou shalt have no peace. A severe sentence has gone forth against thee to put thee in bonds, and thou shalt not have toleration nor request granted to thee, because of the unrighteousness which thou hast taught, and because of all the works of godlessness and unrighteousness and sin which thou hast shown to men. Then I went and spoke to them all together, and they were all afraid. Okay, listen to this, you guys. And fear and trembling seized them, and they besought me to draw up a petition for them, that they might find forgiveness, and to read their petition in the presence of the Lord of heaven. For from thenceforward they could not speak with him, nor lift up their eyes to heaven, for shame of their sins, shame of their sins for which they have been condemned. Then I wrote out their petition, and the prayer in regard to their spirits and their deeds individually, and in regard to their requests that they should have forgiveness and length of days. And I went off and sat down at the waters of Dan, in the land of Dan, to the south of the west of Hermon. I read their petition till I fell asleep. And behold, a dream came to me, and visions fell down upon me, and I saw visions of chastisement. And a voice came bidding me, I tell it to the sons of heaven, and reprimand them. And when I awaked, I came unto them, and they were all sitting gathered together, weeping in Abyss-jail. That's funny that it says jail at the end. Which is between Lebanon and Snezer, with their faces covered. And I recounted before them all the visions which I had seen in sleep, and I began to speak the words of righteousness and to reprimand the heavenly watchers. Okay, so Enoch's reprimanding them because of this dream he had. But notice this right here with their faces covered. This is going to become a subject of interest in this book. We can look at it later if we don't forget. Chapter 62 and 63, it talks about when the Son of Man, when everyone sees him on the throne of his glory, they're going to cover their faces with shame, and they're going to have downcast countenance. And they too will petition him for forgiveness, but they will have to go far from him. It won't be granted. Just like we were reading in Ezekiel, I will have no pity. I will recompense these abominations on your heads. And so I know that this is like a part of a movie, but it's not a movie, but I'm saying it's like the part of a movie where the music gets intense and all these the plot starts coming together, and the viewer or whatever can kind of start to see, whoa, all these connections that happen, and start to see a picture of, in this case, the destruction that's coming. Okay, we'll go to the next chapter, chapter 14. So there's a lot of details in this chapter and the next chapter that are important, I think. So here we go. The book of the words of righteousness and of the reprimand of the eternal watchers in accordance with the command of the Holy Great One. In that vision, I saw in my sleep what I will now say with the tongue of flesh and with the breath of my mouth, which the Great One has given me to converse wherewith and understand with the heart. There we are again. Understand with the heart. How does that happen? Only when the Great One gives it to us. Okay. As he has created and given to man the power of understanding and the word of wisdom, so hath he created me also and given me the power of reprimanding the watchers and the children of heaven. So this was like, this is something that Enoch had he's performing a duty in heaven, which is quite an odd one, because angelic beings being reprimanded by a man named Enoch, that's pretty cool, I think. But it gets confusing, or not confusing, but for Enoch for a moment here, you'll see that he gets a little confused, and in the next chapter, he actually gets called up to the throne and gets sort of corrected by God. Not like rebuked, but just corrected. Because he's thought something that maybe wasn't quite right. Okay, but we'll learn about that. So I probably shouldn't be giving my thoughts about it here yet. Okay. So he's reprimanding the watchers and the children of heaven. Verse 4. I wrote out your petition, and in my vision it appeared thus, that your petition will not be granted unto you throughout all the days of eternity, and that judgment has been finally passed upon you. Yea, your petition will not be granted unto you. And from henceforth you shall not ascend into heaven unto all eternity. And in bonds of the earth the decree has gone forth to bind you for all the days of the world. And that previously you shall have seen the destruction of your beloved sons, and ye shall have no pleasure in them, but they shall fall before you by the sword. And your petition on their behalf shall not be granted, nor yet on your own, even though you weep and pray, and all speak all the words contained in the writings which I have written. And the vision was shown to me thus. Behold, in the vision clouds invited me, and a mist summoned me, and the course of the stars and the lightnings sped and hastened me, and the winds in the vision caused me to fly, and lifted me upward, and bore me into heaven. And I went in till I drew nigh to a wall which was built of crystals. Oh, okay, we're going to pause there. I got to show you something. I know where that house of crystals is, you guys. Specifically, in the sky, I know where it is. Let's look at Enoch 71, I think. So there's a house of crystals in this chapter. We're just going to look at it really quick, because I don't think we'll make it to chapter 71 today. But I just want, this is just, every detail, it seems there's so much. So much to learn. Okay, so let's see. Let's start in verse 5. And he translated my spirit into the heaven of heavens, and I saw there as it were a structure built of crystals. And between those crystals, tongues of living fire. And I'm not going to read this whole thing, but look what it says is about this house. And I saw angels who could not be counted, 1,000 thousands and 10,000 times 10,000, encircling that house. And I'm gonna get a visual image going on the screen just to show you guys what I'm thinking. Probably be easier than trying to explain it. But it'll just take me a moment to get the image. Not too long though. Where are you? There you are. So I'm going to read that verse again when I get this on the screen. Uh-oh, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Okay, so, or I'll make it a little smaller so you guys can still see the words. Okay, look over here, verse 8. And I saw angels who could not be counted, 1,000 thousands and 10,000 times 10,000, encircling that house. And Michael and Raphael and Gabriel and Phanuel and the holy angels who are above the heavens go in and out of that house. That is cool. Verse 10, and with them the head of days. So that's, I just wanted to share that. That's what I believe we're talking about. There's a wall built with, which is built of crystals. Okay, back to Enoch chapter 14. And surrounded by tongues of fire. Okay, I just gotta, some verification here. Where is it? Oh, we were down here, okay. And between those crystals, tongues of living fire. I think it's just amazing how much details there are in this book. Okay. I'm going to start over that verse again. And I went in till I drew nigh to a wall which is built of crystals and surrounded by tongues of fire, and it began to affright me. And I went into the tongues of fire and drew nigh to a large house which was built of crystals. This is exactly what he sees. But this is even before he goes there in 71. That's amazing. And the walls of the house were like a tessellated floor made of crystals, and its groundwork was of crystal. Its ceiling was like the path of the stars and the lightnings, and between them were fiery cherubim, and their heaven was clear as water. Clear as water. That's awesome. A flaming fire surrounded the walls, and its portal blazed with fire. And I entered into that house, and it was hot as fire and cold as ice. There were no delights of life therein. Fear covered me, and trembling got hold upon me. And as I quaked and trembled, I fell upon my face, and I beheld a vision, and lo, there was a second house greater than the former. And the entire portal stood open before me, and it was built of flames of fire. And in every respect it so excelled in splendor and magnificence and extent that I cannot describe to you its splendor and its extent. And its floor was of fire. Sorry, that's just reminding me of Revelation. A sea of glass. I could probably do that all day and we'd never get reading. Maybe we'll come back and look at that later. Okay, I lost my place again, sorry. And its floor, verse 17, and its floor was of fire, and above it were lightnings in the paths of the stars, and its ceiling also was flaming fire. And I looked and saw therein a lofty throne. Its appearance was as crystal, and the wheels thereof as the shining sun. And there was the vision of cherubim, and from underneath the throne came streams of flaming fire, so that I could not look thereon. And the great glory sat thereon, and his raiment shone more brightly than the sun, and was whiter than any snow. None of the angels could enter and could behold his face by reason of the magnificence and glory, and no flesh could behold him. The flaming fire was round about him, and a great fire stood before him, and none around could draw nigh him. 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him, yet he needed no counselor. And the most holy ones who were nigh to him did not leave by night, nor depart from him. And until then I had been prostrate on my face, trembling, and the Lord called me with his own mouth, and said to me, wouldn't that make you nervous? He's already trembling and shaking, like, and then the Lord says, come hither, Enoch, and hear my word. And one of the holy ones came to me and waked me, and he made me rise up and approach the door, and I bowed my face downwards. Okay, this is awesome stuff here. And he answered and said to me, and I heard his voice, fear not, Enoch, thou righteous man and scribe of righteousness. Approach hither and hear my voice. And go, say to the watchers of heaven who have sent thee to intercede for them, you should intercede for men and not men for you. So that's telling me that the fallen angels, they still don't get it. That the one thing they're trying to do to petition God for forgiveness, and they do something they weren't supposed to do, and that's making a man intercede for them, making Enoch or asking Enoch to intercede for them. So this is where I was talking about Enoch is being corrected. Not that he did something wrong, but I think God's just telling him that's not the way things are supposed to go. But, so, let's see here. You should intercede for men and not men for you. Wherefore have ye left the high, holy, and eternal heaven, and lain with women, and defiled yourselves with the daughters of men, and taken to yourselves wives, and done like the children of earth, and begotten giants as your sons. And though ye were holy, spiritual, living the eternal life, you have defiled yourselves with the blood of women, and have begotten children with the blood of flesh. And as the children of men have lusted after flesh and blood, as those also who die and perish. Therefore have I given them wives also, that they might impregnate them, and beget children by them. that thus nothing might be wanting to them on earth. But you were formerly spiritual. I like that how it says formerly. But you were formerly spiritual, living the eternal life and immortal for all generations of the world. And therefore I have not appointed wives for you. As for the spiritual ones of heaven, in heaven is their dwelling. So I just got to share this. If you guys, a lot of people that kind of question the validity or whatever of the book of Enoch, this is a powerful chapter in my own understanding, because in Matthew 22, there's a part where the Sadducees were asking Jesus. I think they were kind of like trying to trap him, but they were asking him. They set up a scenario where this woman married a man. He had 7 brothers, and he died. And then it was custom that he would, that her brother, that she would marry her dead husband's brother. And she did this with all 7 of the men. They all died. And so she married throughout her life or whatever. She married all 7 of these brothers. And they asked Jesus, they said, whose wife will she be in the resurrection? And Jesus rebuked the Sadducees, and this is what he said to him. He said, well, why don't we look it up? It's worth looking up, because I think anytime we can show, significant ways that these books are, I don't know if the right word would be verified or what, but they are, though. There's so many things that are connected, it seems, and this is such a strong one to me. So look what he says to them. I'll read their question, because I'm not, I wasn't good at explaining with the marriage and the 7 men and whatever. So I'll start in verse 23. The same day came him to the Sadducees, which say there is no resurrection, and asked him. So they were kind of like mocking him, I think, because they say there is no resurrection. So why are they asking him about the resurrection? That's like, it seems like they were just trying to trap him or mock him. And asked him, saying, Master, Moses said, if a man die, having no children, his brother shall marry his wife, and raise up seed unto his brother. Now there were with us 7 brethren, and the first, when he had married a wife, deceased, and having no issue, left his wife unto his brother. Likewise, the second also, and the third unto the 7th, and the last of all, the woman died also. Therefore, in the resurrection, whose wife shall she be of the 7? For they all had her. Jesus answered and said unto them, Ye do err, not knowing the Scriptures, nor the power of God. For in the resurrection they neither marry, nor are given in marriage, but are as the angels of God in heaven. But as touching the resurrection of the dead, have ye not read that which was spoken unto you by God, saying, I am the God of Abraham, and the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. God is not the God of the dead, but of the living. And when the multitude heard this, they were astonished at his doctrine. Well, we just read that, you guys. He just said him right here. Verse 4, And though ye were wholly spiritual, living the eternal life, you have defiled yourselves with the blood of women, and have begotten children with the blood of flesh. And as the children of men have, so the angels were being like the children of men, have lusted after flesh and blood, as those also who die and perish. So he's saying those who die and perish, the children of men, right here in verse 5, Therefore have I given them wives, also that they might impregnate them and beget children by them, that thus nothing might be wanting to them on earth. But look at this. This is what Jesus was talking about. But you were formerly spiritual, living the eternal life, and immortal for all generations of the world, and therefore I have not appointed wives for you. For as the spiritual ones of the heaven, in heaven is their dwelling. So to me, that just adds a lot of confidence into this book. I think Jesus was literally rebuking Sadducees because they didn't know this. They didn't understand this, and I don't know anywhere else where it says this. Verse 8, And now the giants who are produced from the spirits and flesh shall be called evil spirits upon the earth, and on the earth shall be their dwelling. Evil spirits have proceeded from their bodies, because they are born from men, and from the holy watchers is their beginning and primal origin. They shall be evil spirits on earth, and evil spirits shall they be called. As for the spirits of heaven, in heaven shall be their dwelling. But as for the spirits of the earth which were born upon the earth shall be their dwelling. And the spirits of the giants afflict, oppress, destroy, attack, do battle, and work destruction on the earth, and cause trouble. They take no food, but nevertheless hunger and thirst, and cause offenses. And these spirits shall rise up against the children of men and against the women, because they have proceeded from them. Chapter 16. From the days of the slaughter and destruction and death of the giants, from the souls of whose flesh the spirits... Did I read that? From the souls of whose flesh the spirits, having gone forth, shall destroy without incurring judgment. Thus shall they destroy unto the day of the consummation, the great judgment in which the age shall be consummated. Over the watchers and the godless, yea, shall be wholly consummated. And now as to the watchers, who have sent thee to intercede for them, who had been aforetime in heaven, say to them, you have been in heaven, but all the mysteries had not yet been revealed to you, and you knew worthless ones. And these, in the hardness of your hearts, you have made known to the women, and through these mysteries, women and men work much evil on the earth. Say to them, therefore, you have no peace. Chapter 17. And they took and brought me to a place in which those who were there were like flaming fire. And when they wished, they appeared as men. That verse right there raises a lot of questions about space exploration and astronauts, if you ask me. You'll see what I'm saying here, I think, as we read. And they brought me to the place of darkness. I'll read that again. And they brought me to the place of darkness, and to a mountain the point of whose summit reached to heaven. And I saw the places of the luminaries, and the treasuries of the stars, and of the thunder, and in the uttermost depths. So, I got to stop there. Remember that the uttermost depths, the deep, the great deep, or there in the second verse in Genesis, it says there was darkness upon the face of the deep. Where was that? Look at this. Right here. This is what I'm speaking of. Where is it? Oh, right here. And darkness was upon the face of the deep. Well, we'll just do this really quick. If we look at that word, deep, it actually means like a sea or an abyss. 8415 in Strong's, and it's, what is it, Tehom? Deep sea abyss. So there was darkness upon the face of the abyss. That's what it says. So back to this. This was saying that the stars are in the uttermost depths. Okay, I saw the places of the luminaries and the treasuries of the stars and of the thunder, and in the uttermost depths, where were a fiery bow and arrows and their quiver, and a fiery sword and all the lightnings. And they took me to the living waters and to the fire of the west, which receives every setting of the sun. And I came to a river of fire, in which the fire flows like water and discharges itself into the great sea towards the west. I saw the great rivers, and came to the great river and to the great darkness, again, darkness, and went to the place where no flesh walks. I saw the mountains of the darkness of winter, and the place whence all the waters of the deep flow. That's where the stars are, guys. Just like I was saying, darkness, it's a simple concept. It's just where there's no light. It's there. If you have a light, there won't be darkness. But if you turn off that light, darkness will immediately consume everything there. Or not consume it, but darkness will cover it. Just like it did in the beginning when the earth was without form and void and the darkness was upon the face of the deep. So then God made a firmament, and he put lights in the firmament to give light upon the earth because it was darkness. Okay. And went to the place where no flesh walks. I saw the mountains of the darkness of winter, and that place whence all the waters of the deep flow. I saw the mouth of all the rivers of the earth and the mouth of the deep. Okay, now this is where it gets cosmology. It gets to be an interesting topic in the next few chapters. And also we're going to hear about those fallen angels again that are imprisoned. So I think at this point they're in the valleys of the earth, but that's only for 70 generations, and I think we're past that now. And so we'll find, in this chapter, we're going to read where they are. Okay. Chapter 18, verse 1. I saw the treasuries of all the winds. I saw how he had furnished with them the whole creation and the firm foundations of the earth. And I saw the cornerstone of the earth. I saw the four winds which bear the earth and the firmament of the heaven. And I saw how the winds stretch out the vaults of heaven and have their station between heaven and earth. These are the pillars of the heaven. I saw the winds of heaven which turn and bring the circumference of the sun and the stars, all the stars, to their setting. I saw the winds on the earth carrying the clouds. I saw the path of the angels. I saw at the end of the earth the firmament of the heaven above. And I proceeded and saw a place which burns day and night, where there are 7 mountains of magnificent stones, 3 toward the east and 3 towards the south. And as for those towards the east, one was of colored stone, and one of pearl, and one of jacinth, and those toward the south of red stone. Red stone, huh? But the middle one reached to heaven like the throne of God of alabaster, and the summit of the throne was of sapphire. And I saw a flaming fire. And beyond these mountains is a region, the end of the great earth, where the heavens were completed. And I saw a deep abyss with columns of heavenly fire. And among them I saw columns of fire fall, which were beyond measure, alike toward the height and towards the depth. And beyond that abyss I saw a place which had no firmament of heaven above, and no firmly founded earth beneath it. I'm going to pause there. I want to just put an image up on the screen to show you guys where my mind is thinking when I'm reading these things. Let me see. I just have to grab a video. I know where it is, so it won't take me but a few moments. Okay, this will give the idea of what. Whoa, wrong one. This one. Okay, I'll just leave this up here so you guys. Okay, when it says there was no firmament above and there was no firmly founded earth beneath it. To me, Enoch wouldn't have said that there was an earth beneath it if there was no earth. That he was obviously seeing the earth, and he was saying it was moving because it wasn't firmly founded. There was no firmly founded earth beneath him. He wouldn't mention earth if it was no earth beneath him. You know what I'm saying? But it was obviously, to me, it was moving. So I think he was seeing something like this. So we'll go back to verse 11. And I saw a deep abyss with columns of heavenly fire, and among them I saw columns of fire fall, which were beyond measure, alike towards the height and towards the depth. And beyond that abyss I saw a place which had no firmament of the heaven above, and no firmly founded earth beneath it. There was no water upon it, and no birds, but it was a waste and horrible place. I saw there 7 stars, like great burning mountains. And to me, when I inquired regarding them, the angel said, "This place is the end of heaven and earth. This has become a prison for the stars and the host of heaven. And let me add another image up here really quick. I think to have like a picture or something to look at, sometimes it really helps something make more sense to me anyway. So I'm just I'm gonna get a picture of something. Let's see. There we go. I don't know if this is the right picture, but you'll get the idea. Okay. Let me go a little bigger with this. Oops. Oh, give me trouble. There we go. Okay, I'll just leave that there, and I'll continue reading. I'll start here in verse 13. I saw there 7 stars like great burning mountains, and to me when I inquired regarding them, the angel said, This place is the end of heaven and earth. This has become a prison for the stars and the host of heaven. And the stars which roll over the fire are they which have transgressed the commandment of the Lord in the beginning of their rising, because they did not come forth at their appointed times. And he was wroth with them, and bound them till the time when their guilt should be consummated, even for 10,000 years. So you notice how it says, and the stars which roll over the fire? Think about what the planets do. Don't they orbit the sun? That's a fire, right? Just saying. Now, there was something else I was going to mention. I don't remember what it was, though. We're going to read about this just in 2 chapters. We're going to read about this place again. Enoch describes a little more. So I'm going to make this a little smaller, but I'm going to leave this graphic up here because I think we're going to want it up there. Or the video or whatever. So this is the end of heaven and earth, and it's become a prison. And there's 7 stars like great burning mountains there. Okay, and they're bound there until 10,000 years. Next chapter, chapter 19. And Uriel said to me, Here shall stand the angels who have connected themselves with women. Okay, so let's just do a little history of what we've recently read here. Let's go to that chapter 10 again. And that part that I was saying that a lot of people seem to miss or be confused about where they're awaiting judgment. So it says, we'll start in verse 13. In those days they shall be led off to the abyss of fire. Look what it says, the abyss of fire. Okay, so what we're doing right now is we're learning that there's consistency in Enoch's story. Because, let me go back to chapter 18, and this is where he says, And I saw a deep abyss with columns of heavenly fire. That's the abyss of fire, okay? And beyond it was where he saw this waste and horrible place that we're talking about right now. So, chapter 19, And Uriel said to me, Here shall stand the angels who have connected themselves with women, and their spirits, assuming many different forms, are defiling mankind, and shall lead them astray into sacrificing to demons as gods. Here shall they stand till the day of the great judgment, in which they shall be judged till they are made an end of. And the women also of the angels who went astray shall become sirens. And I, Enoch, alone saw the vision, the end of all things, and no man shall see as I have seen. So I wanted to just point out here what it said. Here shall they stand, right here. Here shall stand the angels who have connected themselves with women. Well, we were reading about that in, I don't know where I'm going here. Wow. Sorry, guys. It was the first one I clicked. So this is what it says: in those days they shall be led off to the abyss. So they were in the ground. Remember, they were buried in the earth for 70 generations. And then once that was consummated, then they were led off to the place we're reading about right now. And in chapter 19. And it says, here they'll stand and they're going to take, their spirits are going to assume many different forms. I don't know. I'm uncomfortable about the whole space exploration. I think it's such a deceptive way. I guess I don't know the right words to say. The most powerful deception that I could even comprehend, I think. Because it's the nature of the sky we're looking at. It's like, how would we know? How would we know that they're going to defile mankind and make a sacrifice to demons as gods? Well, all the planets, just think of what their names are. Jupiter, Saturn, these are all false gods, the names of these planets, which is another interesting thing. So now, chapter 20. And these are the names, excuse me, and these are the names of the holy angels who watch. Uriel, one of the holy angels who is over the world and over Tartarus, and Raphael, one of the holy angels who is over the spirits of men, Raguel, one of the holy angels who takes vengeance on the world of the luminaries, Michael, one of the holy angels, to wit, he that is set over the best part of mankind and over chaos, Serachiel, one of the holy angels who is set over the spirits who sin in the spirit. Ooh, that doesn't sound good. Who is set over the spirits who sin in the spirit. Gabriel, one of the holy angels who is over paradise and the serpents and the cherubim. Remiel, one of the holy angels whom God set over those who rise. So that would be the resurrection. So these holy angels, they all have obviously been given a task or whatever. So now here we go again back to this place where Enoch was seeing all the imprisonment. Okay, chapter 21. And I proceeded to where things were chaotic, and I saw there something horrible. I saw neither a heaven above, again he says this, nor a firmly founded earth, but a place chaotic and horrible. And there I saw 7 stars of the heaven bound together in it. And he says this about like mountains, like great mountains and burning with fire. That's what he said in, I just want to show you guys. In chapter 18, he said the exact same thing. Right here in verse 13. I saw there 7 stars like great burning mountains. So we'll go back to this again. And we'll read it again. And I saw there 7 stars of the heaven bound together in it, like great mountains and burning with fire. Then I said, for what sin are they bound? And on what account have they been cast in hither? Then said Uriel, one of the holy angels who was with me and was chief over them, and said, Enoch, why dost thou ask, and why art thou eager for the truth? These are the number of the stars of heaven, which have transgressed the commandment of the Lord, and are bound here till 10,000 years the time entailed by their sins are consummated. And from thence I went to another place, which was still more horrible than the former. And I saw a horrible thing, a great fire there, which burnt and blazed, and the place was cleft as far as the abyss, being full of great descending columns of fire. Neither its extent or magnitude could I see, nor could I conjecture. Then I said, how fearful is the place, and how terrible to look upon. Then Uriel answered me, one of the holy angels who was with me, and said unto me, Enoch, why hast thou such fear and affright? And I answered, because of this fearful place, and because of the spectacle of the pain. And he said unto me, this place is the prison of the angels, and here they will be imprisoned forever. So that is the firmament, guys, the prison of the angels. Darkness, space, the solar system, whatever you want to call it, that place that we have been taught to think is, a NASA's playground. It's not. It's a trap. Whoops, I hit download instead of the chapter button. Okay, let's see here. I think we'll probably just... I think I might want to just pause right there and do more reading the next time. I think that's a good place to probably stop. Because it starts getting into some... Well, I don't know. Yeah, we'll just wait. We'll start in chapter 22 next time next time we do this. But I do want to read some other things here. Why was I here? Oh, I love this right here. Jesus is someone that has compassion for people. I'll get this craziness off the screen. Jesus, he would see these people and he would look at them as if they were lost sheep. And he would have compassion on them. And this is a case where someone asked him for mercy. And let's just read it. Bartimaeus. Okay, in verse 46 in Mark chapter 10. And they came to Jericho, and as he went out of Jericho with his disciples and a great number of people, blind Bartimaeus, the son of Timaeus, sat by the highway side begging. And when he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to cry out and say, Jesus, thou Son of God, have mercy on me. And many charged him that he should hold his peace, but he cried the more a great deal, Thou Son of David, have mercy on me. And Jesus stood still and commanded him to be called. And they called the blind man, saying unto him, Be of good comfort, rise, he calleth thee. And he, casting away his garment, rose and came to Jesus. And Jesus answered and said unto him, What wilt thou that I should do unto thee? The blind man said unto him, Lord, that I might receive my sight. And Jesus said unto him, Go thy way, thy faith has made thee whole. And immediately he received his sight and followed Jesus in the way. What an awesome thing is that when Jesus was here 2,000 years ago doing these things, he was healing people's infirmities physically making the blind see, a literal miracle being performed. And I just think it's interesting the way that in my life anyway, I feel like the same miracle has been done to me, but not in the same type of physical way. Maybe more of like I think it has something to do with being born again, being born of the Spirit of God and not of the will of the flesh of man. So that I like that, but I love how this guy Bartimaeus, he cried out, and the people were like, "Hey, stop, leave him alone!" Like they were telling him to stop, and he just cried out again, and like I think that's the state that if a person's in that state, and I'm not talking about physical blindness, I'm talking about troubled by the world, troubled by things that are going around, and you can cry out to him and he does miracles. That's all I'm saying. He does miracles. Luke 21. Oh, I think we already went. Yeah, we already did that one. So I think that was it. I'm going to hang out with the chat. I have to get that chat going again. All right. Good to see all you guys. Thanks for hanging. Paul Levi, what's up? I'm saying hi to everyone that I hopefully don't miss people. Oh, Deb Woods, yeah, the face is covered in shame. Masks are for shame. Let's just look at one more thing in the book of Enoch. Again, it's a prophecy about the end days. We'll go to Enoch 62, I think. I don't know why I just like this wiki source site. It's kind of nice. I'll just read this chapter, I think. And thus the Lord commanded the kings and the mighty and the exalted and those who dwell on the earth and said, Open your eyes and lift up your horns if ye are able to recognize the elect one. That's Jesus, guys. That's the Son of God. The elect one is. Okay. And the Lord of spirits seated him on the throne of his glory, and the spirit of righteousness was poured out upon him. And the word of his mouth slays all the sinners, and all the unrighteous are destroyed from before his face. And there shall stand up in that day all the kings and the mighty, and the exalted, and those who hold the earth. And they shall see and recognize how he sits on the throne of his glory, and righteousness is judged before him, and no lying word is spoken before him. Then shall pain come upon them as a woman in travail, as on a woman in travail, and she has pain in bringing forth, when her child enters the mouth of the womb, and she has pain in bringing forth. And just think of the masks, you guys, the mask wearing. Just think of that when we're reading this. And one portion of them shall look on the other, and they shall be terrified, and they shall be downcast of countenance. So I'm just going to share with you guys, my vocabulary is not very good. So what I did was, when I was reading this a while back, I had to do this and just search for that word just to make sure I was understanding. And it's a person's face or their facial expression. So they were downcast in their faces. Okay. It means a lot here but there's a reason why too. Just like those fallen angels told Enoch or had him petition the Lord and then they weren't supposed to, but in the same way that they petition for forgiveness, all the people, all the what does it say? All the exalted and those who hold the earth and the kings and the mighty, they're going to have to do the same thing. Look at this. And they shall be downcast of countenance, and pain shall seize them when they see that Son of Man sitting on the throne of his glory. And the kings and the mighty and all who possess the earth shall bless and glorify and extol him who rules over all, who is hidden. For from the beginning the Son of Man was hidden, and the Most High preserved him in the presence of his might, and revealed him to the elect. And the congregation of the elect and holy shall be sown, and all the elect shall stand before him on that day. And all the kings and the mighty and the exalted and those who rule the earth shall fall down before him on their faces and worship and set their hope upon that Son of Man, and petition him and supplicate for mercy at his hands. Do you guys remember what Ezekiel was saying about it? Ezekiel said 10 times that he said the word recompense, that their abominations would be recompensed upon their heads, okay? And he would show no pity. So that it said that 7 times in Ezekiel. So verse 10, nevertheless, that Lord of spirits will so press them that they shall go or hastily go forth from his presence, and their faces shall be filled with shame, and the darkness grow deeper on their faces. And he will deliver them to the angels for punishment. Because remember, he said he's not going to show any pity, because he's been long-suffering and shown mercy all this time. And it just seems that people don't care. But verse 11, and he will deliver them to the angels for punishment, to execute vengeance on them, because they have oppressed his children and his elect. And they shall be a spectacle for the righteous, and for his elect they shall rejoice over them, because the wrath of the Lord of spirits resteth upon them, and his sword is drunk with their blood. And the righteous and elect shall be saved on that day, and they shall never thenceforward see the face of the sinners and unrighteous. And they shall never thenceforward see the face of the sinners and unrighteous. And the Lord of spirits will abide over them, and with that Son of Man shall they eat and lie down and rise up for ever and ever. And the righteous and elect shall have risen from the earth, and ceased to be of downcast countenance. Ceased to be of downcast countenance. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. Call on his name, and everything changes. You will see that a mask is just that. It's a mask. It's shame on your face, and it's darkness on your face. That's what I'm getting from these things, and this is to me, it's a prophecy of the time we're living in, and right now it seems to be coming to pass. I'll just finish this quick. And they shall have been clothed with garments of glory, and these shall be the garments of life from the Lord of spirits, and your garments shall not grow old, nor your glory pass away before the Lord of spirits. One more verse, got to look up. Revelation 7, and then I'll say hi to everyone in the chat, and then I'll probably be done. But here, look what John sees. So it was talking about, we were just, oops, wrong one. Oh boy. Okay, here it was. We were just reading about these garments of life from the Lord of spirits. So that's what made me go here. Verse 9, after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes. We all want those garments, because the ones we're in right now are they're corruptible, and they won't enter the kingdom of God. So, I mean, I'm not saying, that gets a little complicated, so I'm not trying to say anything too profound. I'm just saying the bodies we're in are flesh and bone, and have the will of man, and we lust after the things of this world. And so, just like Lot's wife probably should have done, turn away from the things of this world. If the world's doing something and it appears to be good, be very careful. Because, an example, look at what SpaceX is doing, and this dream that they have of moving men to live on Mars, or a civilization on Mars. They think that that's a righteous thing. And God's up in heaven trying to tell them that's not a good idea, guys. He has not left his throne. And we've had it revealed to us through these scriptures that those 7 planets, that word planet comes from a word that means deceive, planeo. That's the root of that word. It's to lead astray, to cause to wander, to deceive. Just the word planet should be enough almost. In 1 John 2 verse 26, it says, I write these things, or I can't remember exactly what it says, but concerning them that seduce you. And that word is right there, it's planeo. So it's almost saying concerning the planets. He's talking about how we get seduced. And again, in the book of Enoch Chapter 19, we just read that the angels that took themselves wives would be there too. And in Enoch 10, we read that all the... I better go there. But we read about... right here. And whosoever shall be condemned and destroyed will from thence forth be bound together with them to the end of all generations. I don't think you want to be bound in Sheol with them. So you'd rather get one of these clothed white robes that and palms in their hands that Jesus is promising us or showing us. So that's that. And Jose Alvarado, your Star Trail video is playing. Good to see you. And I already said Paul Levi, and let's see. Oh, and I'm having a turn. I'm going to say FA3. I'm going to just call you FA3 from now on. Good to see you. FA3. I'll have to remember that. A name I can't pronounce. Salted Cedars in the house. Chris Shizpak, how you doing? Good to see you. Andy Taylor. Veronica, no, how you doing? Awesome. And did I say hi to everyone? James Richard, what's up? James says, may our Father in heaven pour his Spirit upon you, bless you, and give you wisdom as to what's written. Amen. Thank you. And same to anyone that believes. I know that he's opening the scriptures to be something that something that has such meaning that I guess that's the power of the Holy Spirit. So, all right, I made it to the bottom. Oh, Yaz Child, I almost missed you there. How you doing? Good to see you. The Bubba News too. Wow, how you doing? I hope your eyes are doing good. I was thinking about that the other day. And Flat Smack Biblical, good to see you. How did I miss all you guys? I must have. It's actually really weird with while you're live streaming or while I'm live streaming. It's always really weird with the chat. If I try to scan down through the chat or up, it does where it refreshes on its own and it goes to a different part of the chat and I lose my place and I'm like, oh, where was I? But so Randy Cochran, how you doing? Good to see you. I'm doing good, Veronica, thank you. Yeah, you know what? I just think it's so strange in the world we live in. When I don't really leave the house much if I don't have to, but when I do, it just makes it so much more reason for me to come back and read these books and pray about, ask for understanding and ask for wisdom and just pray for everybody. But it's the time is short. I'm gonna grab a link to a video. This is a video. It's just a live stream, just similar to this one, but I think it's a very important one. And I actually, I don't typically sit and listen to myself talk. That's not really enjoyable for me. But sometimes, I'm just opening my studio here. Sometimes I end up, it plays through or something, and I end up hearing a live stream or whatever, while I'm laying in bed or something. And that happened last night. And I'll show you which video I ended up listening to. And I think there's a point that I, maybe not I made, but what I'm saying is the words that I was saying seems to have been something that maybe a lot of people need to at least hear or consider. So I'm going to put a link in the chat if you guys are driving or something, if you have time, at work or whatever you're doing, if you have headphones or something, just to listen to some of these. Oh, look at that. I'm live right now. Wow. It's not like a fun topic really, but this one right here, I'm going to get a shareable link. There's a lot in this video I think that's important. So I'm going to put that in the chat. And I think the video is called, Do You Still Think Satan is Fake? There it is in the chat. If you guys want, I was listening to it last night and I'm like, wow, there was a lot going through my mind and I know it's not me, you guys. The Holy Spirit tells us, actually that, I think I had that open too. Yeah, right here. Let's look at Luke 21. Let me just start in verse 12. But before all these, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. And it shall turn to you for a testimony. Hey, Shalom girl, I was talking about you. Who else has this in the blue there? And it shall turn to you. Who else has experienced that, understands that? I do. I have a testimony. I didn't have a testimony 5 years ago. I no testimony 5 years ago. Today, I have a testimony. Okay. Settle it therefore in your hearts, not to meditate before what ye shall answer. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom. So this is what I'm talking about when I linked that video. I'm not trying to prop myself up because it's not my words, it's his words. And so I'm only just trying to say that it seemed like some of those things in there might be something, maybe the words were put in a decent way or whatever that people could understand them. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist, and ye shall be betrayed both by parents and brethren and kinsfolks and friends, and some of you shall they cause to be put to death. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But, listen to this, but there shall not an hair of your head perish. In your patience possess ye your souls. Be patient. But I don't think we have to be patient very long. I really don't. James Richards says, Job 38, where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare if thou hast understanding. Who today declares they have understanding? Good point, James. Very good point. Nimrod Paul, how you doing? Yeah, I think another version it says, who is this that darkeneth counsel with words without wisdom? And I mean, I'm not trying to like name people, but like people like Elon Musk, when they're talking, people just consume his words and they just eat him up. I mean, I don't know how many times I see in chats things like, in Elon we trust. Things like that. That's like blasphemy. Yeah, it's a crazy time we're in, but just know this, that like we all have lived in a world where we've all had a reputation, and everybody wants to have a good reputation, right? Nobody wants to be looked at as crazy or anything like that. Read Luke 21. I was just reading Luke 21. You saying the whole thing? Right, Davey 313, right? And Salted Cedar, right on. Yep, and that's the thing. I mean, I think every one of us can just see the, having some kind of mark you can't buy and sell. I mean, it sure seems related to that thing that's going around, And I have to be careful even what I say on my channel here. A lot of people have lost their channels, like Jesus Freak Computer Geek is gone. But luckily, if you're not subscribed, go to his backup channel, Jesus Freak Computer Geek 2. Because he still is out there doing great stuff. Veronica Noah says, yes, I had a fiery trial this past year. It was strange, but Father did his work through the Holy Spirit. It was a situation that would have went bad if I let my flesh take over. Oh, wow. I think that, I'll bet you, every single one of us has a story like that. And it's like delicate stuff, like things that, 10 years ago, if you would have said anything like this or knew anything that some of these things that we'd be saying and doing and facing, we'd be like, I don't want to go through it. I don't want to. But here we are, and it's not that bad. Right? Awesome. All right, guys, I'm going to head out and, I appreciate every one of you for hanging out, and just spread the word. Keep seeking and speaking the truth. And every once in a while, I think of Vincent Rhodes. If you guys aren't familiar, he's a pastor. I know him on Facebook and YouTube. And often when he does the live stream, he makes me kind of jealous how he ends his live stream. He says, remember, Jesus is the light of the world. So that's how I want to end this one. Jesus is the light of the world. Call on him, and there's deliverance. So he's knocking at the door. If you answer it, he'll come in and change your life. So I will see you guys sometime soon here, and have a wonderful day.